a few years back, someone wrote an article, an essay. The hook, the title was, "Is Google Making Us Stupid?" Right? He's not really suggesting that Google is making us stupid, but he wants to catch the reader's attention, so that's the title he gave. Is Google making us stupid? And he's written an entire book about it, but part of it, in summary, is that he's saying, like going back to Marshall McLuhan, famous, the medium is the message. So much of the way the internet is arranged and the content distributed, that it's altered the reading patterns and habits of people. And even people who were deep readers, meaning people who read a book a week or more, or regularly read full books, they noticed that by consuming information on the internet, it's become more or less, heading or title, we call a lead sentence, L-E-D-E, the lead, and a little paragraph, and then read more. So not a whole lot of people are clicking on read more. So they're just scanning headlines, mostly, then lead sentence, maybe, paragraph, and then maybe read more. And not only that, we know that Facebook acquired Instagram, which we use now for our own promotion. And although they were asked, the guys who made it, like 4 or 5 guys, the company, they never grew the company, they kept it small. It was only like 2 years old or something. They asked for $2 billion. And Mark Zuckerberg said, I'll give you $1 million. They went, okay. That's okay with me, I'm okay with that. They didn't argue too much, they accepted the $1 billion. And people thought, is he foolish, or he just has too much money to spend? What's the problem? Or what's the situation? And what he perceived, and perhaps not he alone, was that Instagram had the capacity to cannibalize Facebook. Because as time has gone on, Facebook was like a picture, and then then it became mainly pictures, then almost only pictures, and Instagram just was pictures from the beginning. So you saw, and it's instant, it's immediate, it's up on the net, you don't have to log in, or post in the Facebook sense. So some people have made the case that everything is shifted toward visual media. And this is the point I would like to make in a roundabout way, is one of the famous axioms or maxims of writing is show, don't tell. Right? The good writers, they write things in such a way that you get the picture, so to speak. They don't tell you exactly what it is. They show what it is by, to get heady and intellectual, T.S. Eliot called the objective correlative, which means whatever the author has in mind, there's an objective correlative, meaning words, images, etc., that if they're assembled in a proper way, will convey that idea or concept to the person. That's the idea in summary form. But so what I'm going full circle to is those who fear that visual media will eclipse literary and all other forms of media. Well, the literary media to begin with was to give you an image, a concept, some vision. It's been said the artist project, and by that I just don't mean people who paint, but art as a whole, artists, writers, etc. It's been said to give people new eyes, new vision, new perspective, a new way of seeing. That's why in art they study all the intricacies of that, like contrapposto, the first time somebody had somebody you know, move their body a little. We saw those old Greek, Egyptian things and the Greek thing, and then somebody actually had somebody like move a little, contrapposto, contraposition, and other things. So they made a big deal out of it, right? In terms of, it was artists giving people a new way of seeing things, a new perspective. Well, interestingly to us, that's really what the spiritual project is. As Guru Maharaj said, what is your service? To acquire the proper angle of vision, right? Sambandha Gyan, etc. It's acquiring the proper angle of vision. Om Jnana Timirandasya is acquiring the proper angle of vision. So really the spiritual project is similar, but deeper. Dive deep into reality. If we take it that art at its best is some sort of representation of truth or reality, then concede that and say, yes, then we should dive deep into that reality, beyond the superficial aspects.